Right.
It requires a lot of sacrifice, and people devote their lives to it.
Well, are they asking you to do any of that, or are you just going there for exercise and to meet chicks?
Well, it's the same as Aish Torah, which is a form of ultra-Orthodox Judaism, a very successful proselytizing machine, bringing Jews to Orthodox Judaism. And by successful, they regard it as successful if they bring in 2 converts out of 100 people they bring off the street. Make 2 converts, they regard that as success. So if you go to the Wall, the Western Wall in Jerusalem, and someone asks you, would you like to have a Sabbath meal with a nice family, and you say yes, what you're usually getting is, what they're aiming at is not so much to give you a nice meal with a nice family, but to bring you into this form of ultra-Orthodox Judaism as kind of a bait and switch. So...
Yeah, but I mean, churches have church socials, or they have the pastor, invites you to dinner at the house. So how is that any different? I mean, it's all about making you feel included and making you feel a part of a family, making you feel a part of a brotherhood or a sisterhood. I mean, every religion does that, don't they?
Yes, to varying degrees. So everything's a matter of degree. To what extent is there a bait and switch? Mm-hmm. Like, to what extent do they really just want to have a meal with you? And to what extent are they going to sell you or bring you into a lifestyle that is going to cut you off from everybody that you were previously close to?
I'm not a proponent of the Church of Scientology, so I want to preface that to begin the conversation. But I know people who were drug addicts or alcoholics, and they found that the Church of Scientology helped them lead a clean and sober life. If that's that to me is a social good. Regardless,
yes, and you could say the exact same thing with Kundalini Yoga.
Yeah,
many people who are drug addicts went sober through Kundalini Yoga. Many people who were drug addicts or otherwise screwed up went sober through Aish Torah or the Kabbalah Center.
Yeah, so can't we say, okay, that aspect of it is good, and if that's all that it becomes for you, then we give it a thumbs up. But if it turns out that they're now telling you to disassociate from your family, they're telling you to get rid of your friends, they're telling you to give all your worldly possessions to the church, that's when it becomes problematic, right?
Right, and so you have to assess its impact on people in general and as individuals. So there's no doubt that all the things we've talked about have done good for many people and have done bad for many people. So the question that the wise man must ask is, are any one of these institutions doing more good than bad? What's the general tendency for people who take on this new lifestyle?
Well, I get a sense that you're at a crossroads with this Kundalini Yoga, that you're thinking that if it's a cult, I don't want to have anything to do with them, and yet you're going there and feeling good and you're getting exercise, and if that's all they ask of you, or if let's assume that they say, why don't you get more involved, and you say, no, I'm just happy coming on Fridays and stretching. If that's all that happens with it, I don't know where the harm is.
Well, let's say the harm is you have a child who suddenly dives into this full force, and they abandon the way they were living and take up a whole new name, a whole new identity, and a whole new way of life. And then after 20 years of this, they quit and say, Dad, I wasted 20 years of my life on this chanting and cold showers. So I agree with everything you're saying. Kundalini Yoga or Aish Torah or Scientology can do great things for many people. A moderate application of many of these things, such as Kundalini Yoga, would seem to only do good. And I'm not going to make that decision whether Kundalini is a cult or not, because I agree with you that the term cult's not really useful. It's a put down that people who don't like a strange way of living use. It's interesting as a metaphor to the extent of how many people are harmed by this and how many people are helped. And if we're thinking a lot more people are harmed than helped, then we're going to call it a cult, and that can be a useful term.
Yeah, yardstick.
But I like it. I'm enjoying it. But I mean, I'm going on this site, the rickross.com site, and it's listing many of the exercises that I'm doing. and it's claiming that some of these are physically dangerous to my knees and to my back and to this and to that. So I would recommend that anyone who's into Kundalini yoga or any other non-mainstream way of life that isn't directly accessible to reason should delve into this. Because when, for instance, you go to Kundalini, much of the things that you're taught do not seem accessible to reason. It's like a magical brew, and it does tend to make me happier, and it does tend to make everyone that I know in Kundalini yoga happier. But happiness is not the only test for a system.
Well, I'm sure there are people who believe Orthodox Judaism is a cult, and you said there are aspects of, or there are offshoots of Orthodox Judaism that is certainly fits the definition. Do you believe that you're a member of a cult?
I was thinking that on Friday night. I went to synagogue and I picked up a commentary on the week's Torah portion, and I read from the commentary that one who follows a Torah life, that he is the pain and death lose their sting when you lead a Torah life. And that immediately jarred me, because that's how I was raised in Christianity, that those who are in Christ, pain and death lose their sting, that Christ provided victory over death. And I hate that way of thinking. That's when religion becomes magical and kind of drains life of its meaning, and it just becomes at best nonsense and at worst harmful. So I went around asking people at this Orthodox synagogue who I knew, do you agree with this sentence that living a Torah life removes the sting from death and pain? And all of them agreed with that sentence, which I find disturbing.
Well, I think that's what people look for in religion, though, is answers to life's big questions, a guidebook, something that they can relate their life to things that have happened in the past, and also for solace, knowing that in hard times I get comfort from these words or from this belief. That's true in every religion.
Right, and as you presented, it doesn't seem like a bad thing. I did not see it primarily in those terms. I see it primarily in the terms of checking out from reality.
Well, and what's so terrible about occasional escapes when times are tough? That is what solace is check out from reality. If you've got death and destruction and poverty and tough times, what's wrong with a little? I think the human condition requires pick your poison. I mean, you can do it through drugs and alcohol, or you can do it through religion, or everyone needs an escape. Some people get it from reading a book. It's all going to a movie. It's all an escape. And I think human beings need that. It's why little kids twirl around and make themselves dizzy. They need to alter their consciousness, and we all do it in our own way.
Okay, so I'm arguing one side, you're arguing the pro-religion side. Are you not at all disturbed by the belief
it's very funny. Yeah, you're right.
Following a particular religious way of life removes the sting from pain and death. To me, it's non-rational. It's diminishing the human,
but that's what all leaps of faith require. You've made a leap of faith when you were a Christian, and you make a leap of faith as an Orthodox Jew, and you do that because it does remove the sting. Yeah,
you're right, but. And I can see where, to a certain extent, that can make you happy, just like the magical mystery potions of Kundalini yoga tend to make all of us happy. But it's kind of at the expense of a full commitment to rationality and reality.
Mm-hmm. Well, the most rational and sane people occasionally need an escape too. And as the old saying goes, in an insane world, the sane man acts insane. There's something to it. What are you talking about? The magical potions in Kundalini? Do they actually sell?